November 2020, hurricanes Eta and Iota hit Central America, leaving 9.3 million victims, and of which 1.7 were children. This is Oscar. He's 18 years old and is cleaning the house he used to live in, while he's now living in the street. The landowner is paying him $14 a day to clean the place he was previously his house. His mother was also displaced after the disaster, and she's living now in a tent city in San Pedro Sula. So every day, with the money he earns, he buys food and brings it to his mother. He sleeps at night in the street, and in the morning he goes back to the house to continue his work. By mid-January, many families in the neighborhood and in San Pedro Sula and in general in all Central America moved by trucks, on foot, towards Guatemala and Mexico with the first migrant caravan of the year. After I documented the aftermath of the hurricanes, I started following this movement of people towards the United States for 7 months. The pandemic left an heavy toll in Central America and Latin America in general, but it really pushed people farther into poverty, which is the main driver for exploitation and vulnerability. So even though the borders were closed, people continue to move, to migrate. And 2021 was definitely a record year for number of migrants trying to reach the United States. We're looking at around 10,000 people moving on foot and on trucks towards a barricade that we don't see, made by Guatemalan police officers and Guatemalan army to stop their northward journey. Eventually the confrontation started. And people dispersed into the woods, into the fields, and in smaller groups continued to move north, across Guatemala and Mexico. These police officers are people from Guatemala. So those men, probably they can sustain their family thanks to the money that some family member is sending them from another country. And then you are there trying to stop the journey of somebody who is like your uncle or your brother who's helping you every month, sending your kids to school or buying food. Police brutality, it's a common thread in Latin America, and there is an history of totalitarian regimes, dictatorships, which had sustained themselves so far with the use of the military force. This is a bridge in San Manuel in Tabasco. It's along a route. I've been working there with a Mexican activist, and he was assisting all these young men with snacks, food. But what we both realized is that people were more interested into sharing conversation with us. That dialogue that we establish is the core of my practice, because when this dialogue between us is honest and sincere and authentic, then it can be duplicated with a viewer. Here we are in Coatzacoalcos, a city in Mexican state of Veracruz. I was there with other migrants, mainly from Honduras, and they were waiting for the infamous cargo train known as La Bestia, the Beast. It's a cargo train that crosses Mexico, but we don't know when the train is passing. It's called the Beast because it's dangerous. There are criminals jumping on the train, threatening the migrants, keeping their money, sometimes kidnapping them, This woman is called Lesbia. She's from Honduras. She was kind of falling apart in this charity shelter in Tijuana, Mexico, close to the border. She was living in the US. She was deported back to Mexico. And she lost her children. She had spent a couple of years in jail in the US. And when she was out, she was deported. And she doesn't know where her children are, and she's desperate to find them. And when you see something like this, so a woman full of love and desperation, lost, without knowing where her family is, well, then I don't just think about Lesbia, I think about so many people in the same condition, in the same situation. We're in Texas, in a city called Del Rio, and that's the Rio Grande. And those were Venezuelans who had migrated first to Colombia, and then finding that Colombia has too little to offer to them, they had decided to move, headed to the United States. After having crossed half the continent, they finally get to their destination. Many of them told me that they had spent days, some had spent weeks in a farm on the other side of the border, where traffickers gather migrants. All the migrants, they have a bracelet. So traffickers know, according to the color of the bracelet, how much the migrants paid, where they're coming from. And from this side of the border, every night in Roma, Texas, you can hear heavy weapons. There is a war on the other side of the border because Mexican cartels are fighting over the control of the land, because human trafficking is even better than drug trafficking. You know, like traffickers mislead people, so they ensure that they will be taken into custody, they will start the asylum-seeking process. The truth is that, at least in the last 2 years, so many of them were just expelled, sent back to Mexico the day after, or after a couple of days. When you are expelled, that's trauma. Like they had spent all the money they had debts, and they had to start over again. So when I was in Texas, I was looking at these people. Some of them were happy, you know, because they had finally made it. And but I knew that they were exactly the same people I was meeting weeks before, months before, on the Mexican side. So there was this contrast also, you know, between their joy, their relief of being finally safe, and my understanding of the situation, knowing that they would have been deported and after a few days they would have been in Mexico again. While taking these photos, I understood that all the stories I was working on were part of one project, which is defining my vision and my photography.